Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am, but right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
And switch show. There we go. Oh, 62 days until Christmas. I said all these words and you couldn't hear me. Good to see you all here. Thanks for being here. Mumbo Jimbo, thank you for the notice that the volume wasn't working. Seth, good to see you as well. And I saw Skywalker's Academy is here. Good to see you all. We're going to talk a little bit about this Hunt for Ben Solo story today. I've got my opinions on it, and I think I'm the only one. From what I've seen, everybody disagrees with me, which is fine. It's normal. This is the way it is. Nick, hello. Oh, good to see you too. Thank you for being here. We're gonna talk about this Hunt for Ben Solo, and I've done something a little bit different today. If you guys want to come on and tell me that I'm wrong, you can do so. I posted the link on Discord. I posted it in YouTube. I posted it in Patreon. All of it public, so you can access the link in any of those places. I also pinned it in the chat here. So if you guys want to debate me, tell me I'm wrong, convince me why I'm wrong, I'd be happy to listen. I'll disagree. I think I can't see a path to making it make sense. And to be more specific, well, first, before we get into that, just a couple of notes. My wife and I were headed on vacation this afternoon. So we're going to wrap up the show today. I'm going to take care of some stuff, finish packing, and we're headed out on the road. We won't be back until the evening of November 2nd. So I'll be out all next week. No live stream next week. We won't be doing the members Zoom meeting next week. It's a week off, so you won't find me. If you can wait for me to get back, we'll be happy to talk about some things when we do. Hopefully, no big Star Wars news comes out next week, but that'll be that. Today, we're going to talk about this Hunt for Ben Solo a bit. I've got ties in the vintage collection, Vader's tie Interceptor. I've got it right over here. We're going to open that and take a look at it. And then if there's still time, we'll get into some of the Cantina build as well. The real Ben Maynard. Hello, Ben. Good to see you again. Yes, we definitely need the movie. I feel like both sides of the Star Wars fandom would like it. Well, which side am I? I'm not. I got to tell you, they've brought back plenty. The problem isn't how. The problem is why. And what? We're going to talk about that. Because I think there's big issues that people just want to wave away and pretend like it don't matter. But it does matter. And we've got to talk about it. So we're going to do that. So here's my issue. Is let's bring Ben Solo back after Rise of Skywalker. There's a million ways they could do it. That's not important. They could do it any number of ways that they feel like doing it. I don't care. Not a problem. It's Star Wars. You use the magic. It's done. Right. So Ben comes back. Now what? There's my question. Now what? You cannot, in my opinion, you cannot just simply wave away the mass murders, the planets that were completely destroyed, the village at the beginning of The Force Awakens, where he has everybody slaughtered. Certainly, the entire system that was destroyed in from Starkiller Base, and then even after he took control as supreme leader, the murders, the things that he did as supreme leader, he needs held accountable for. You can't just say, well, he needed a Snickers bar. He wasn't feeling quite himself. He was in a bad mood. You know, everybody goes through this rough period of time, and it was trying to identify. His mom and dad didn't understand him. He just felt, and that Snoke guy, he was deceiving him. He was misled by somebody who, I can't get past that. Like, Ben Solo, it's not the same as you had with Anakin Skywalker when he pledged his allegiance to to Palpatine as Lord Vader, right? And from a certain point of view, Vader did kill your father, right? It's not the same. Ben never did, like, Kylo Ren never killed Ben Solo. They were one and the same. He used this Kylo Ren and the helmet or whatnot, all kinds of things, but he was still Ben Solo the whole time. Even in The Last Jedi, when his dad comes and says, son, take that helmet off. And he lays the helmet off, and they have that little debate. He's still their son. He's still Ben, even though he says, you know, that guy doesn't exist anymore, blah, blah, blah. You can't just say, well, he's better now. He's okay. It's all fine. I don't buy it. I don't buy that it's all fine. And so the Millennium Villain like thingamabob. Good to see you, Ducky Momo. 42 months of membership. Thank you for all your support all this time. It's been great to have you. I appreciate seeing you here today as well. I can't just excuse the murders, the entire annihilation of villages, planets, systems, destruction. And people say, well, I mean, other people have. Well, Anakin came back, but he died, so he didn't have to take on the accountability of what happened as Vader. Maul comes back, but Maul is never a good guy. He's not just running around in the universe like hanging out with these buddies, having a good time and, you know, beating up bad guys. He's not doing that. He doesn't have it's entirely different. Maul is still a bad guy. He's still being hunted, right? The Jedi, when they find him, right, they fight him all the time. It's not like, oh, it's okay. You're not Darth Maul anymore. You're not Sith. He's still a bad guy. Of course, he was with crime syndicate and so on and so forth. But at the same time, he was never accepted. He was never free to just live his life however. The implication that Ben Solo would come back after Rise of Skywalker is that he and Rey could have little Ben Solo babies, and the Skywalker continuity continues. Come on. I don't buy it. I can't. I don't know. I don't know what else. How you just wave that away, right? I'm not sure how galaxy-wide his identity was known, though. So it could be something that he would have to live with, hey, more public punishment. Well, maybe they don't. But think about what happened to even Leia Organa. Once they found out her dad was Darth Vader, her political career was over. And she went through all kinds of issues because her dad was Darth Vader. It limited her political career. It limited her choices. She still lived a perfectly normal life with Han. They had babies. They went on all in the EU, right? But even you go back to, oh, Matt Risman, I see you. You you go you go back to just canon, right? Leia still is a hero. She's a leader. She's all good. She didn't commit atrocities against entire solar systems and planets and peoples. She didn't do any of that. And yet she was still tainted by Vader's legacy. Anakin died. So he never had to be held accountable for what he did as Vader. In Solo, maybe people don't know. Like, he wore the helmet when he was out in public, for the most part. Wide public would not know him by face. But what happens when somebody outs him? Right? Somebody says, wait a second. Aren't you the guy? You have lots of old First Order people who are now, without a job. They've been put, the government's been shut down. After Rise of Skywalker, that thing's gone. Some of them were going to say, well, wait, weren't you the supreme leader? I mean, the only possible way that I see Ben Solo in any kind of meaningful story after Rise of Skywalker is as a fugitive. He goes around, maybe he's trying to make amends for all the terrible things he did, all the terrible things the First Order did. And as, the a redeemed Ben Solo, he's going around and trying to make things right. But then somebody finds him out. Wait a second, you're not that guy. You're the other. You're a bad guy. You murdered. Genocide. Like, hello, Sabersmith. At that point, he's got to go back into hiding. He's got to change his identity again. He's got to go find somewhere else to live. It's over. It's not like the guy just to go out and be a hero of the Republic or whatever it is after the Rise of Skywalker. He doesn't get to go out and just be, he and Rey going on adventures together. This is not going to work. Not going to work. She certainly does. You're wrong. So, look, that's me. That's where I am on it. I can see plenty of ways to bring him back if that's what you wanted to do. I've got another kind of argument about it. Is that at the end of Rise of Skywalker, he gives his life to save Rey. That's the end of his redemption arc. So we see when Rey stabs him through with his own lightsaber, and then she heals him. When she heals him, the scar on his face goes away. He ceases to be Kylo Ren at that moment. He has the little reunion with his dad. He throws the lightsaber in the water, and he goes off. From that point on, he's Ben Solo. And he goes to Exegol. He helps Rey battle with Palpatine. He gets yeeted into the chasm. He comes back. He gives his life to Rey so she can live. That's the end of his redemption story. The end of that redemption puts him, it gives weight to his sacrifice. It gives meaning to the sacrifice that he gave to give Rey life. The other bit, just worth consideration, worth discussion, is he evaporates. His body is gone. In all the other cases where we see people die and come back, their body is still there. They don't just evaporate into the Force. They're not just gone. With Ben, he evaporates. He's gone. From that moment on, he's done. If you bring him back, and I get that there's tons of ways to do it. KG, hello. And Mumbo Jimbo, amazing. Thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. Amazing. Thank you so much. It says, the Force may have forgiven Ben Solo and allowed him to become one with the Force. Okay, so we got that. The galaxy won't forgive him. That's my point. It's hard for me not to think of this idea as a knockoff Star Wars version of Star Trek III, The Search for Spock. Yeah. Just to kind of finish the thought on, if you bring him back from the cosmic force, he's been evaporated, he's gone. People complain about Qui-Gon getting stabbed in the belly with a lightsaber, he dies, but we got all these other people who get stabbed in the belly with lightsabers and they don't die, ignoring that, some died because they got in the side, and Maul got sliced completely in half, and all these other examples, right? All these other things. You bring Ben back, right? If you bring him back, why don't you bring back Anakin? Now, you can write it into the story, right? I get it. You can write it into the story about the dyad and blah, 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 whatever. Right? You can write in all kinds of reasoning into the story why it's a one-time only kind of thing. Sort of like the Holdo maneuver. You can only do it once. They can't ever do it again. Does that stop people from complaining about the Holdo maneuver? Does it stop people complaining about Qui-Gon getting stabbed? Does it stop people complaining about all kinds of things? No. If you bring Ben back from the cosmic force, why won't you bring back Anakin? Why won't you bring back Luke? After all, Luke gave his life force to save people. He didn't actually even, he wasn't mortally wounded. Why wouldn't you bring back Luke? If he went, think about how Luke dissolved into the Force in a completely sacrificial act to save people. Why couldn't you return him? Why wouldn't you? Not couldn't. You can write that into the story. Why wouldn't you bring back Luke? Why wouldn't you bring back Anakin? Why wouldn't you bring back Yoda or Obi-Wan or Qui-Gon? If you're going to bring back Ben, you have to answer, why won't you bring back these others? Problem. It's a problem. I'm just not buying it. I'm just not. Oh my goodness. All right, I see some other points. Andrew Coatsworth. Oh, hello, Andrew. Good to see you. Seeing how disorganized the sequels were, would it be easier to simply put a new story after the era? Palpatine could have implanted his consciousness into a machine easily. Well, they did that in the EU, right? Palpatine, well, actually in the EU, they did lots of different things. Palpatine came back in different ways. One time he had thousands of clones, and he was putting his body into different clones, and they would deteriorate really quickly, and he would just go to another and another. And he was producing clones faster than they could deteriorate, and he just kept moving from clone to clone. He did all kinds of stuff like that. So, yeah, you can write these stories any way you want. doesn't mean they'll be good, right? In there's some of us that are huge fans of the sequels that would be a little put off by some of that. If trying to undo the sequels, which is another point about bringing Ben back after Rise of Skywalker, aren't you undoing Rise of Skywalker to some degree? Certainly, at least Ben's sacrifice. And I saw a comment we'll get to in just a moment. He said, but would his force power still exist? That's a good question too, Andrew. That's a really, really good question. I appreciate that one. Everyone's something I hadn't thought about. He gave his life, save Rey. Something to something happens. He comes back. Does he still keep the power? I think that's the point people want. Right? Here's the thing. We have tons of Reylos out there. People who love the idea of enemies to lovers. They love the idea of a redeemed Ben Solo getting together with Rey Skywalker and having Rey and Solo. That's the Reylo. It's not Rey and Kylo. Reylo. It's Rey and Solo. Reylo. Tons of people who were heartbroken, absolutely devastated by Ben dying at the end of Rise of Skywalker. Two people that I admire greatly, Girls with Sabers, right? Emerus and Luthen. I watched their video about it just the other day. I watched it yesterday. They were absolutely heartbroken by what happened in Rise of Skywalker. There's, I think, Lacey Gillerin with TRB also hugely, hugely disappointed by the ending of Rise of Skywalker. I get it. And wanted to see Ben's life continue without the consequence of what he did seems to be what I'm hearing. I haven't heard any of them. I love Girls with Sabers. I have the utmost respect for those two ladies. They are amazing, educated, well-researched. Their content is wonderful. I miss them doing regular content. But because of that, I listened to them, but I didn't even hear them truly address what happens. How do you hold him accountable? What's the consequence? One thing to say I'm sorry. It's one thing to be forgiven for your sins, for your crimes. But there's still consequence for your crimes. And I think they have to. Here's how I would do it. Ben Solo survives. He's immediately put on trial and then executed for his crimes. Now he's dead again. No. No. Look, I'm joking. I think there has to be some heavier consequence than just say, "Oh, it's fine now. It's all right." Don't think about it. I'm not okay with that. I'm just not. Oh, that's me. Lawsy mercy. Yeah, KG. Ben never should have died. He should have faced atonement. I agree. He needs to face the consequences. Right? He has to face the consequences. Skywalker's Academy. I'll get to your Discord comment in just a minute. They upgraded medical technology certificate. Yeah. Anakin has his own job as the father. Perhaps he will. We saw Anakin's Force Ghost, though. Never saw Ben's. True. Never saw. Well, we did see Leia's at the end when Luke and Leia nodded at Rey to go ahead and take the Skywalker name. We saw that. So we've seen her as a Force Ghost. Who else dissolved into nothing? And we never saw their Force Ghost after that. Can't think anybody offhand. So we never saw his Force Ghost, so maybe he's not a Force Ghost, except they kind of imply that he's a Force Ghost, or if he's not a Force Ghost, that he's gone. Like he died, and his body dissolved. Either it becomes a Force Ghost or not. You can bring him back. I'm not arguing you can't bring him back. You can. But then you have the whole thing after. And that's my problem. Let's see. He's the one who has the power to save the ones he loves unconditionally. Lightsabers just bounce off Reva. Well, it didn't bounce. She was stabbed, but she, that hate. Oh my goodness! As a Star Wars fan, I'm obligated to complain. That's the terms and conditions. Amen. Me too. And I'm accused of being even more shillistic than Matt Risman. Matt Risman, he hangs out with his friends over at EBN. He's the shill of the group. I'm more shill than Matt Risman, and I'm allowed to complain too. So there's that. You can blame Bob Iger for Luke evaporating into the Force. Everybody wants to blame somebody. It's like we all sat at those board meetings. We heard all the arguments and we know everything because somebody told us on the internet. And now we're being told other things on the internet, aren't we? He could come back to help hunt down some former First Order holdouts. That could be something of punishment to go for a while. Yeah, again, I could see bringing him back in a fugitive type story. Nobody can know that he's there. And anytime he's outed, right? So he goes undercover, he's going by, Din Bolo, whatever. And he's trying to make right. He's trying to hunt down some former First Order. He's trying to take care of things. He's trying to make up for all the wrongs. And then somebody says, wait, you're not Sen Bolo. You're Ben Solo. You know who Ben Solo is? He's Kylo Ren. You're the supreme leader. He's like, oh, no. Now he's got to go into hiding and become somebody else. I can see that, right? Yeah, and then he comes back as Din Bolo. Yeah. Lord, is it possible he didn't complete the death process? Leia disappearing at the same time, too. Has to mean something. She passed before that, though. She passed right after he had the thing with his dad. But yeah, it's easy to bring him back. Yeah, look, I'm fine. They can invent a new way to bring him back. I'm not buying what we do with him after you bring him back. I think that's a problem, and I haven't yet been convinced why there's enough justification to overlook what he has done. Right? I don't think it undoes the sequels or his sacrifice. It certainly does lessen his sacrifice if dying isn't dead. If giving his life isn't really giving his life, he just, needed to take a nap in the Force. And now he's back. I feel much better. Took a nap. We're good. My old body was kind of worn out. I got a new body now. We're good. Yeah. Anything that undoes the sequels. No. Matt, you're wrong. No. No. I adore Raylo, but it's not just the Raylo angle. I know it's not. I know. Hey, I saw we had another friend here. Part of it was Ben Solo being a great character. Yes, I get that. People are like, and I've mentioned this before. When kids come to me at Christmas time and they mention they're a Star Wars fan or whatnot, there's two characters they say over and over and over again that are their favorite. I ask, oh, you want Star Wars toys? Who's your favorite Star Wars character? There's two that are mentioned over and over. One, Darth Vader. Two, Kylo Ren. Those are the two that are above. I've never once had somebody ask for a prequel, and I've never once had anybody mention anything from animation. It's always Ben and Vader. every now and then I'll get Luke. Every now and then I'll get Ray, or I'll get Jabba the Hutt. You guys heard that story, but I'll get characters like that from time to time. I've never even had anybody mention Cal Kestis from the video game. It's always been, so I get that the character is a really good character. People love Kylo Ren. They love Ben Solo. They love the idea of Ben Solo, and they want to see that story. We never got to see that story. We want to see Ben Solo now that he's been redeemed. Well, hold on. He still has all these crimes. Nobody's mentioned, what do we do about the crimes? There's John Graber. Oh, good to see you, John. Thank you. And please haze Matt Risman consistently, constantly. Don't stop. I love you. Thanks for being here. Somebody else has to pick on Matt Risman other than me. So I appreciate it, John. Thanks for being here. Aggressively relaxing. Hey, I saw you had a video. I haven't got to watch it yet, my friend, but I saw you put a video. I'm mad at Star Wars, and this story is definitely not going to is not just market testing for this story idea. I like aggressively relaxing is a Canadian that I really like. I got lots of Canadians I really like, but he's another one. Aggressively relax. Oh, wait, are you Canadian? I may be confusing you. So you have to tell me. Aggressively relaxing. Are you a Canadian? I think you are, but I might be wrong. My brain all of a sudden said, "Wait, you might be wrong." Mr. Spleen. Spleen's a funny word. Let's see. Can we get a Shilloween stream when you get back from vacation? That would be fantastic. I'd see if I can get Matt Risman, and we'll do a Shilloween stream. We'll let Coach and them know that it's a shill stream. You have to be at least as shill as Matt Risman to meet the mark. You know, if you're not at least as shill as Matt, you can't come on. Yeah. Did you hear that Kathleen wanted George's original treatment? I did hear that, Andrew. It's interesting because the massive underworld conflict would have erupted. A new Jedi Order could have formed in the ashes of the Empire. Yeah, I heard that Kathleen really wanted to follow through with that. I watched Josh Lucas's video, Jenna Nerds, where his source told him all these things. I never once thought that Disney Lucasfilm just threw George's treatments in the trash. I know that that's a consistent argument that like Star Wars Theory has made and others that Kathleen and Bob, they just took George's treatments and threw them in the trash. I don't think that was ever the case. I think they started with those treatments. They worked hard on them for a long time to get them written. And as the story started to, he's not Canadian. He's in Atlanta. Okay. Aggressively relaxing. Sorry. As soon as I said it, I was like, I think I'm wrong. So thank you for that. I think they started with those treatments. They worked on those. And as the story developed, it got further and further away to a point where they're like, you know what, it's just not working. And so they then moved, they kind of set those aside and moved on. But many of the ideas that were in those treatments still made it into the final cut. They're still in the sequel trilogy. They're just not at all like how George delivered them. Right? Let's see. Yeah. We've had an exceptionally strong vertebrae. You got to have a strong backbone. Okay. Leia passed a while before, but her body didn't disappear. Oh, you're true. That's absolutely true, Kay. I remember. Yeah, because she's laying there on the slab and she's covered in the sheet, and people are going, they're crying, they're mourning her death, right? Let's see. Can anyone point to an idea from their original treatment that hasn't just already happened? That's a good question, aggressively relaxing. I think all the stuff that was in the original treatments have been told, maybe not the way that George had them written, right? The story didn't unfold in that direct order, but the things that were in there did happen. I think that's exactly right. And he just needed a power nap. Yeah, that's all. Maul survived through his hate. Same with Reva, right? Maybe Ben survived through his love for Rey. Saber Smith, I'm fine with him surviving in some way. I really don't like it, but I'm convinced there's a way to tell it. Nobody has yet told me. Nobody has yet told me how to deal with his crimes, with his accountability, right? Luke. I think part of it as well. Adam Driver is far away the best actor from the trilogy. I think you're right. Of the main characters, far and away. They had some other very heavy hitter actors involved with the sequel trilogy, but they were backup roles and different things. So I agree with you. I think Adam Driver was by far and away the best actor. His character is one of the best characters, if not the absolute best characters. Always relentlessly hazed, masked, Roastman with love, of course. Yeah, Matt Risman. Yes, always mercilessly haze him with love. Yeah, because Matt's a great guy. Matt deserves plenty of love and admiration, but also hazing. Lots of hazing. Shilloween Risman has to wear a wig. Wait, what? I mean, I'm not opposed to him wearing a wig, but I'm not wearing one. He's in Atlanta, Georgia, King of the South when T.I. passes away. Real Ben, I would have just flat out rather had George's treatments because at least the legacy characters would not have been completely botched. I'm not sure. I've heard different things about his treatments. I am certain of one thing. I'm absolutely certain of it. Had we gotten George's treatments with no other context, you've never seen anything else, erase the last 10 years, none of it happened. No rumors, no whispers, no nothing. And it's 2012, and we hear George Lucas is doing movies. He releases his movies. I'm 100% confident people would have hated them. A big portion of the fandom would have hated them. People hated Ewoks in the original trilogy. Trust me when I tell you, people hated the prequel trilogy. Some of us still hold on to some of that. I am 100% certain people would have hated George's. And had somebody come after George's movies and said, oh, there was this other thing that somebody thought of, J.J. Abrams thought of this other story, and here are the major plot points of J.J. Abrams' sequel trilogy. People would have said, oh, we should have had those. Those would have been so much better than what George's nonsense. I'm sure of it. And I'm not saying George's movies would have been nonsense. I'm just saying that's what people would have said. Right? Yeah. Let's see. Where are we? My source at Disney, Lucas, that dinner nerd source walked out of the bathroom with toilet paper on his shoe. Oh, very funny. What's going on here? He says, I saw, what's Santa wrong about? Well, the way I spell my name, I'm sure that you would take issue with how I spell my name. There's that, you know. Nerd Mafia, good to see you. It's absolutely good to see you, my friend. Thanks for the picture the other day. That was a lot of fun too. I showed it to my wife. We really enjoyed it. So thanks for that. Yeah, aggressively relaxing. It's different than aggressively hermiting. Dan is wrong for the first time in a long, long time. Like, it depends who you ask. He's been solo for like 3 minutes, but we all saw it. We immediately know we lost out not seeing more of it. Yeah, people are saying that. He's okay. I don't know about great. yeah, yeah, I know. I talk about Rizman. I think Reva surviving multiple stab wounds from Vader is one of the most laughable things when a master can't survive in a. Yeah, justice for Jin. Look, you bring back Ben. You're going to have to answer about Luke. You're going to have to answer about Anakin. And whatever answer you have is not going to be sufficient. I'll tell you that right now. You bring him back. He survived. He came back through whatever story plot device you want to use. And I'm fine with that. Come up with all the reasoning so that it's a one-time only event ever and it can never, ever happen again. Whatever you want to tell, I'm fine with it. But then you're going to have to answer to why won't you do the same for Luke? Why won't you do the same for Anakin? You're writing the story. Why won't you write them back in? At this point, you've come up with a plot convenience to bring him back. Use one to bring back Ben, or to Luke. And bring, think of one to bring back Anakin. I think atonement would definitely be addressed in the film. It's a big galaxy and possible to hide. People not knowing he was under the mask. Yeah, I say I can see a path to a fugitive type story where he's making atonement. He's going around the galaxy, setting things right. And then anytime his identity is found, he has to change his identity and go back into hiding again. Yeah. Ray, hello there. Oh, my friend. Hey, I've been reading. I see you. I think about our love of the novels. I've been reading this latest, the Last Order. Have you started reading that? Have you read it yet? It involves Finn and Janna after Rise of Skywalker. I'm 10 chapters in, coming up on 30% of the way through the book. 10 chapters in. 2 of the 10 chapters are after Rise of Skywalker. 8 are set before. Roughly 4 with Finn, 4 with Janna. Backstory. 2 are after Rise of Skywalker. And both of those feature a new character, a teenage kid, more than Finn or Janna. They're hardly in it after. Hardly any of the story is after. I'm working my way through that book, but good to see you, Gray. People most definitely would have complained about George's treatments. The whole premise sounds amazing. Be nice if they listen to fans that want this. Well, maybe. And I stood his ground. I did stand my ground. We had a our members Zoom call Wednesday, and Skywalker's Academy was there. He argued with me, and I was like, "You still haven't answered it well enough. I'm not buying it." Just different opinions, but I would have rather been disgruntled about something George made than disgruntled about something made by Disney. I'll agree with you that I think the fandom as a whole would be in a better place being mad at George than being mad at Disney. Because then at least we could have hope now that Disney will do something better. People would still be mad. People would still be divided. The fandom would still be absolutely a hot mess. Don't think that it would be any better from that standpoint. But it would be better that all the energy would be focused at him. And now he's retired. He's not going to do any more Star Wars, and we won't be saddled with any of that anymore. Right? That's how it goes. Here's the petition link. Okay. If George finally let Luke cook, then people would have loved it. Except I've heard that he wasn't going to. I heard that he was going to have Luke as they were going to do an Apocalypse Now kind of thing where he was basically a hermit, and the girl went and found him, and he told her basically The Last Jedi. That was essentially George's treatment of Luke. It was based on Apocalypse Now, and that Luke would have been a hermit hiding in a jungle or something like that. I'm going to be a complete menace until we get the Hunt for Ben Solo movie. Oh no. Are you going to be my nemesis now, Gray? After all this time of us being friends, are we now enemies? No. I mean, frenemies. Can we be frenemies now? Great. I'm alone here. Nah, can it be explained much better than somehow? Perhaps. Yeah. Luke and Leia, or Anakin, give Ben the Ahsoka treatment. Yeah. A terrible argument. Anakin and Luke serve their purpose. Oh boy. You said the thing. Have they? Did Luke serve his purpose? Luke's death at the end of Last Jedi was satisfactory end to his character. You think that's the way that it should have gone? Episode 10. Mace Windu wakes up and says, "Wild dream. Guess I got to make that Skywalker kid a master now." Not read it yet, but I will. I'm sure you will. Hold on. Is Santa being pessimistic about optimism? He's in his dark Santa phase. The last couple of months before Christmas is stressful. You're not wrong about it being stressful. It is a stressful time. Okay. Nobody's come on to argue with me here. Now, Skywalker's Academy said he sent me something on Discord, and he put it in the Star Wars Santa channel. So let me get in here and see what Skywalker's Academy has to say. Everyone, or at least everyone who understands the bigger picture of the canon, could see this as the intent of the creators. Ben disappears and he's not a Force ghost at the end. Rey looks at Ben's TIE fighter and boards Luke's X-Wing, takes the Millennium Falcon to Octo. What reason does she have to go back to the island? She goes there to quit. And then Luke says, "No, don't quit." And she gets the X-Wing and she leaves. And then she goes back to Tatooine. But anyway, do we need Ben back? The Raylos think so. The dyad's incomplete. Gray. Frenemies it is. Fantastic. I truly appreciate it, Gray. Frenemies it is. I love it. Great. Couldn't be frenemies with a better person. Anakin returned to the world between worlds after appearing as a Force ghost in Return of the Jedi. Sure, yeah. Some say that people take the Force ghost with them, right? They say whatever. You could write it. It's not hard to make a way back to get him in. You have to answer some of the other questions. Ben doesn't need to go in public or do the Jedi things. He could take Rey with him. Probably be asked by Anakin to help him finish what he started and destroy all the Sith relics and artifacts. The atonement begins to set things right. They will be able to begin to destroy the Sith beyond the living, or the Sith eternal, or Sith triumvirate. I suppose. Skywalker's Academy then says, Ben said, "I will finish what you started." He did part of that, saving Rey, which was a huge atonement and sacrifice. But Anakin can easily give him the job of removing the possibility of the Sith returning again. Maybe. I guess I'll be upset on behalf of George Lucas when he asks me to. The white knighting, aggressively relaxing. People love the white knight. Boy, oh boy. We have tons of white knighters out there. White knighting for George Lucas like he can't defend himself, or he needs defended. Or white knighting for whichever cause it is you feel like was wronged. They just go out there and they're mad as a hornet because somebody said something about somebody else, and they're mad for somebody else because they're champion them. Yeah. As of now, every production has a story about George on set. That's true. George is still friends with Lucasfilm. George is still friends with at least Dave. But I think he's still friendly with Kathleen too. So, he says it's best Star Wars ever. Director calls mom excitedly. Yeah. They could bring Ben Solo back through the world between worlds. Sure, they could bring him back a number of ways. He could totally meet Anakin, his grandfather, and it'd be best story ever. You still got to deal with he murdered millions of people. Yikes. You guys want to ignore that he killed millions of people. They had an entire village decimated for no reason. Old men, women, children, defenseless village. Just had them slaughtered for no reason. None. That's okay. Don't worry about it. I've not once heard anybody say what an acceptable punishment for slaughtering an entire village. That's just one village. What about Starkiller Base destroying entire systems? Entire worlds obliterated. Well, he didn't do it. Snoke did it. He didn't do it. Hux did it. He didn't pull the trigger. They did. He became the supreme leader. And did he undo anything as supreme leader? Did he stop anything? Did he start to try to reverse the course? Did he do anything as supreme leader to make up for what Hux and Snoke did? Did he do anything as supreme leader to make up for annihilating that entire village? These cooties. You guys give me an answer for what the right kind of punishment for that kind of atrocity, other than it's okay now. I've not heard anybody say anything other than, but it's okay. He's fine. He's not the same guy anymore. I've heard nobody deal with the atrocities he committed. He was still technically supreme leader when he became Ben Solo. So there. Sun T factor check. Sun T fact checker. Hello. Good to see you. If they made a movie about Ben Solo, I agree he should have had to atone for his evil actions. A redemption arc isn't complete without it. Thank you. I agree. He saved the entire galaxy in his final moments. He literally died for his crimes. Not that if he comes right back and he's fine. Right? He never became a Force ghost. He took a nap. He got a new body. It's all healed. He's good now. He feels much better. Feeling much better. Did he sacrifice his life if he just took a nap? Heck yeah, he could be the father. Vader killed billions of people, but I love the character. Yeah, you can love the character, but he died. He's dead, right? They didn't bring him back. I mean, they brought Anakin back as a Force ghost. I'm okay with that too. Bring Ben back as a Force ghost. Go right ahead. No problem with that. Right? No problem with that. All right. Well, we need atonements for all the First Order troopers for following. Yes. 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 Vader and Ben are my favorite bad guys. A lot of people, right? April. Didn't see April. Oh, there she is. There's April. Good to see you, April. Thanks for dropping in. All right. Look, I'm just not there, right? I restate things other people say sarcastically. Don't do it back to me. The petition for the Ben Solo movie. Don't click it. I know I highlight. Don't click the link. Don't. Gray is now my frenemy. Frenemies of my frenemy are my frenemies. How does that work? There you go. The petition for the Ben Solo movie. You guys see where they had an airplane pulling a banner across there in LA? All of that. The hunt for Bibi Netanyahu. Oh, I do love Thrawn. Yes, me too. I want to see Anakin, Ben Solo, and Luke. You bring them all back. Yeah. If I explained it well and he faced atonement, could you get there though? I can get there, KG. As I mentioned, put him on a fugitive path. I can absolutely get there. As much as I hate enemies to lovers, and I am opposed to the Raylo arc, I can get there. I can, yeah. Put him in the world between worlds. You could do that. Be part of the movie. Yeah. They have to have punishment for crimes. What's the punishment for annihilating an entire village, murder, slaughtering women and children, innocent people? What's the punishment for that? What's the punishment for destroying an entire planet? Millions, perhaps billions of people. What's the correct punishment for that? Yeah, you can go out and have kids and live a life and happily ever after. Is that the punishment for that? Is that an appropriate punishment? I don't know, you guys. I don't know. He can go back in time and fix it. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That's not how the Force works. All right. Hey, I've got a Mike Porter dad joke. I forgot to put it in the tool here, so I'll just have to read it to you. Make the hunt for Ben Solo, and in the end, Ben wakes up from a nightmare that was the sequels, and he never has to atone. No, wrong. No. Look, the sequel trilogies are fantastic. I love the sequel trilogies. You can't take them away from me. Won't have it. Get on out of here with that idea. No. The answer is no. I got Mike Porter dad joke. And then I'm going to unbox the Vader's TIE Interceptor. And then we're going to head out on vacation this afternoon. So I'll keep interacting with your chat. You don't have to go, but I know a lot of people they don't want to hang out for the rest of it. I love you, Santa, and I love being your friend of mine. I love you too, Gray. Absolutely do. First time we ever disagreed on Star Wars stuff. Yeah, especially at this level, right? We've kind of, have different favorites or whatever, but this is the first time we've been like on opposite sides of something. I know. I love you too, Gray. Gray is one of the first people that really connected with me in a way where I knew we were very, very different people, but we have a bond, and I'll never forget. Just fantastic. So I appreciate it. Santa, you have to come to comfort level that all these projects, the Mandalorian, post-Rise movies, are just being used to fix the sequels, just like the prequels. I'm okay with adding more context to things. Retcon, a lot of people think that means to erase, undo. No, retcon is to give retroactive what's the con part of it? It's context. Retroactive context we did not have before. I'm absolutely fine with getting retcons to the sequel trilogy that give you more context after the fact that make them better. I love it. I have no problem with that. Let's keep going, right? Let's do it. Yeah. We are all pretty much the versions you from prequel era, but that's how we're feeling about the sequels. I get it. I understand. That's why I understand, like, some people will never come around on the sequels, because I've never come fully around on the prequels, right? It feels weird disagreeing with Santa. Thank you, KG. I appreciate it. I love you too so much. KG's been fantastic. Just plays the games, the predictions games. I love sending prizes when she beats me. Absolutely great. Ben will be redeemed. Santa will get there. Well, we'll see. We shall see. Ben could spend the rest of his life using the Force through the galaxy for good. Fugitive arc, I'm with you. And always regret the actions and never have a life of his own. A fugitive arc. We can do it. We can do it. I'm sorry, but the cycle of Star Wars for my entire life is you give AV nerds too much money and then tell a story that makes no sense. And you clean it up with ancillary. Yeah, this is the pattern. You're exactly right. Ben could spend the rest of his life. Yeah, we read that one. Yeah, it does feel weird disagreeing with Santa. I'm used to it. I've said many times in my life, I've been alone on an island of one. Right? I feel like Tom Hanks in with Wilson. Right? All I've got is this old beat up basketball. Was it a volleyball, soccer ball? I've got this old, and I paint a face on it, and it's just me and Wilson hanging out on the island all by ourselves. Look, I've been there. The island I live on. Yeah, I disagree with Santa on almost everything. Feels normal. Yeah, yeah. Hope you have a great time on Mackinac Island. Yes, that's where we're headed. It's a favorite spot of mine. I spent afternoon there just a few weeks ago. Yes, happy anniversary. Got to go. Fun listening for a bit. Thank you, Sunty Fact Checker. Appreciate it. It's a pattern. Did a members call on a dyad 3 years ago. I agreed with Santa on that day. It was one day. Wilson. Yeah, it was a volleyball. Okay. Friend of mine was supposed to say friend of me. Okay. The Mike Porter dad joke. Let me get to the Mike Porter dad joke, and then we'll open this. If you guys got to go, I understand. Mike Porter said, here's your Mike Porter dad joke of the day. It's, what do Jedi eat when they're watching their calories? What do Jedi eat when they're watching their calories? Well, they eat Force toast. Probably like, those rice wafers. Yeah, probably like that. The tasteless, calorie-less, air. Force toast. That's probably what those taste like. They put like rice cakes. Force toast, rice cakes, same thing. Yeah. Thank you for that, Mike Porter. We love Mike Porter here. Thank you so much. Let's open this box. It's a big one. Oh my goodness. You see the size of that thing? Let me set this up here. And I'll continue to interact. If anybody wants to hang out here a little while longer, I'll still be here. We got this giant box. It's big. It came in the mail just today. FedEx came and delivered it. I'm going to set this here. And Santa did a call with the dyad. That's cool. I met Pep at Comic-Con once. Oh. And now it's time for Santa's workshop. Yes, time for Santa's workshop. I should do that. Baymax, if you're still on the call listening, we probably need to get a Santa's workshop, like with a TVC, Lego, like, toy, Star Wars toys kind of intro, something, right? We can maybe work on that. Vader's TIE Fighter. Let me do this. It's too big to even fit here. All you see is cardboard. But I'll open it so you can kind of see. This came directly from Hasbro. Hasbro likes to use this packing material. Oh, good. This is going to work. That's that Peanut hates. Peanut's upstairs. I didn't bring her down today, but we'll get this packing material out of the way. You can see. Get this out of the way. And there's Vader's TIE Fighter right inside there, right? So let's get this over here. Oof. There we go. That's easier. and set this big box aside. All right. We've got Vader's TIE Advanced right there. I had to order this. It's just fantastic from the original trilogy. You guys see behind me, I've got a shelf of original trilogy vehicles. I've got X-Wing. I've got the Land Speeder over there. I've got the Snow Speeder. There's a TIE Fighter, an ATST. All of that's over here. So I had to get this. It looks like it's the best version of this that's ever been made. So I had to get this. Ordered it, and happy it came today. Vader's TIE Advanced. There you can see. And I was told that there's a detail on the packaging that's not included on the actual toy itself. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. So here you can see this, like a workshop animation. That's it. That's what I need, Baymax. I need that, we'll have to talk about that. Let's see if we can come up with something. Here, I think that's, yeah. Okay, so here's the issue, I think, when we'll take a look at it when it comes in. You see in the cockpit here, you're looking down, this imagery that's there. It's like it's zeroed in on a X-Wing. From what I understand, that's not actual part of the toy. Part of the boxings, part of the advertising, part of what was sold, but it's not a part of the actual product itself. We'll take a look at that when we open it, and see about that. So we'll get right there. All right. So let's open this up. I want to get to that, and I want to see just how egregious it is. Right. By the way, this Cantina is making me crazy too, because it's still coming apart all the time. If you know, you know. If you watched other Cantina unboxings and assemblies, it's a big problem with this Cantina. The Haslab, the targeting computer. Yeah, we're gonna turn that around. Let me pull this out here. Get the box. Open. All right, we'll set this aside, and here we go. We've got the tie right inside of here. This aside. So, that off of there. Okay, here we go. So here's the main ship itself. We'll take a look at that. This is fantastic. Just a note, like previous toys have had these as like little missiles that are spring loaded. You could fire. That's not the case on this. It's meant to be more screen accurate. They did a lot of work to make this screen accurate, including they put some Arabesh right there on the, if I can get it to focus, there it is. Right on the capsule. Let's see. Yeah. So let's see if I can show you guys down. Oops. Down inside of here. Let's see if I can get it to focus. There you go. You can see all the controls that are in there. You can see on the side, we've got different things in there. Right, there's details down in there. There's certainly some artwork down in there, but there's nothing on there as a targeting computer. And we'll get to it's blank. There's nothing there. We'll try to. I imagine there's some stickers. We'll see if they have stickers in here. But there's the main body. We'll set it aside for just a moment. Get these wings out. So here's the first wing, and part of this wing assembly, I was really impressed with the detail they added here. It's a feature actually, where this wing's cut out, and you have two different inserts that go here. We'll get to that in just a moment. So I'll set this aside. Get the other wing. You'll see this wing is complete. It doesn't have that same part that's missing. It's because when he took the damage there from the Falcon at the end of A New Hope, it gets damaged. He goes spinning off into space. So here's this piece. We'll get to it in just a second. Set it aside. And here are your inserts. All right. Hold on, it's taped. Come on. There we go. We have two different wings. One is the damaged one, and the other is not. We'll set those in here. Yeah. So here's our undamaged wing portion that can go on. And then this is the damaged version, right? So you can change it out. The one that's been bloated up, right? The one that's been damaged, you can see it's got like it's actually curved out. Like the metal has actually been warped. And yeah, that's fantastic. We'll set this aside. What else is in the box? We just got some more empty cardboard here, empty cardboard there, and then the unpunched Vader. This Vader is not exclusive to this packaging. This is, oh, Gray, you guys have a wonderful day. It's great catching up. Great catching up to you too, Gray. Thanks for being here, as always. Love you much, my friend. So this Vader, you can order him separate, and I already did because I wanted to keep this one. It's unpunched. So this is a nice collector kind of thing. I've got the other Vader that I ordered on the shelf back there. I'll take that Vader and put him in here when all is said and done. So we'll set this Vader to the side. No stickers. No stickers. So as you guys are saying, looks like they just missed the computer sticker. Yeah. So I know Baymax that he contacted Hasbro. Imagine lots of people have to complain that where's the sticker? I need my sticker so I can put the part on that you guys didn't. In the imagery, right? It's in all of that. I would like to have it, please. All right. So this is real easy to assemble, right? You only got like a couple parts. The wing just goes straight on here. Right? We'll just get this out of the way. Right? We just set this down in here and snap this wing on. Hold on. Goodness. You really gotta. Is there something I didn't remove? No. Wait a minute. Maybe I got it on. Aha! I had it on backwards. There it goes. It snapped right in place. Now this one goes on here. It'll go right on there. Again, it's sort of like a ball and joint kind of thing. And now it'll just go right on and it'll snap right in place. Perfect. And assembly is basically done. Right? With that, and then you have these two options, as I mentioned before. Right? We can take this wing if we want. Just like this. We'll get this wing put on. Right? And it just snaps right in there. Nice and tidy. There we go. There we go. Right on there. And undamaged. Right? And he can do all that. And then, great shot, kid. Let's get on out of here. Right after the Falcon takes care of Vader. And he goes flying off into space, which worked out convenient because, if he'd been there in the Death Star, he'd have bloated up too. And there you go. Look at that. The damaged version. Just like that. Easy peasy. Fantastic. The detail here is just great. Look inside the window there. Cockpit. I should go grab Vader and put him in there, shouldn't I? All right, let's do that. Let me do this. We're going to go right back there. We're going to grab Vader and bring him back. All right? Let me do that. Vader. Damn it. All right, let's see. Where's Vader? Hold on. Where'd he go? There he is. Here he is. All right. All right. I got Vader here. Something fell on the floor. Oh. All right. There we go. And let's see if we can get Vader put into his Interceptor here. We'll open this up and we'll see about getting him positioned in there. I'm going to turn it this way if I can. All right. Oh. And then he comes with this soft goods cloak so that you can put him in here. That he's a saber over here. Okay. Don't need to stand. We're going to position these arms so he can grab hold of the mechanism. Put him in a bit of a seated position. We can. Here. All right, let's see. All right, let's see if we can get Vader in here. Again, this, right, even this part here is cloth, so you can fold that in. We can set him down into high advanced there. Or the interceptor, whatever. High advanced. Get him in here. Oof. Come on, Vader. Get on down in there. Here's the tricky part. Let's see. Get him. I can see there's if I just put it out this way a little more. You can see there's some handles down in there for him to grab. Just gotta get him fully seated down in there. There we go. Got him seated down in. And then I got to get his hands onto these handles. There's the difficult part right there. Let's see. I was just telling Baymax earlier today, my eyesight close up, I can hardly see anymore. You get to my age and the eyesight gets so my nearsightedness is worse, right? I have a hard time seeing up close without readers. I had LASIK vision done on my eyes a couple years ago, so I could see in a distance, but the consequence was that my close-up vision was going to go away, and that has been the case. All right, so I got one hand on. See if we can see. I've got, okay, he's got hold of that control right there. Now I got to get his other hand to grab that other control. What's Ducky say? Vader must have been eavesdropping on Luke and Kenobi chatting and decided to turn off his targeting computer. You must have gotten that special edition. That's very good. That was a good one, Ducky. That was great. Yeah, got the special. Like, you know, Luke had turned off his targeting computer. Vader's like, oh, yeah? I could do that too, son. Watch this. Boom, turned it off. I don't need no targeting computer for wimps. Targeting computers for amateurs. I don't need no targeting computer. I'll just use the force. Boom. All right. There we go. Now, I got that handle on, and this one let go. and then Han shot him. That's true. That's true. Well, this would be a lot easier if maybe less front window opened, and I could reach in through the front window. This is going to be a wrestling match. I can already tell. You get one on, the other comes off. And you just go back and forth constantly. Constantly fighting to get the hands to grab hold of the handles there. Here, grab hold of that. Okay, you got it? You got it. Okay, good. Good job. Now let's get the other one right here. You know, it'd also help if I didn't have huge sausage fingers. Or the elves. Elves, they've got little hands. They can grab these things much better than my big sausage fingers. Let's see. Aha! Eureka! Eureka! Now, all right. So we've got his hands on the handles there. Right? He's got to hold both hands. Get it to. Oh, he let go. That one was holding. His legs are kind of all whopper jaw down in there now, right? Because I was wrestling with him. You know, if I can get his hands to grab hold and get both hands to grip onto the handle there. I don't care where his legs go. It don't matter. Well, it's whopper jaw. That's true. His legs are all whopper jaw. Cattywampus. Right? That's the other word. They're all cattywampus in there. You guys know the right words. Is that? Yeah, you must have been typing cattywampus when I said it. Okay, he's got to turn this hand. Aha! Eureka! He's got a good hold on there now. Fantastic. Fantastic. There we go. All right, so there he is. There's Vader. You can see that hand's got a nice firm grip on the control. And that one there also nicely. But you can see his legs kind of all haywire in there. But look, he's got a good hold on the handles, and that's going to make for a real nice view through the front window. Here, you get this front window. You can see. Let me turn around. Never heard whopper jaw in my life. You're kidding me. You never heard of anything being whopper jaw? Okay, must be an Ohio thing or West Virginia. My family comes from West Virginia, so I don't know. Maybe it came from West Virginia, for all I know. See, getting a lot of reflection. Here, what if I turn this light off? Would that make it easier to see Vader in there? The camera's not wanting to adjust to the dark. But sure enough, he's in there. You can see him in there. Look at, what if I open the lid? Let light in from the top. It would be easier to see him in there. Let's see if I can. Nope. But anyway, there we go. There we go. He's in there. He's all snug. He's got a good hold of the controls. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this. He comes with a couple extra parts. He's got a fist for being all menacing, you know, rawr. And there he's got an unlit saber hilt plus the lit saber. You know what we're going to do with all this? We're going to open the lid. I'm going to open the lid here. And we're just going to say, boink. There we go. It's all in there. All right. Never heard of. Yeah. He can stand on top. Well, I've got him in there. He's secure in his seat. He's got a good hold of the controls. And there we go. We've got Vader in the TIE Advanced right inside of there. All right. So we'll get back to doing the Cantina build next time. We're going to call it from here for today. I'm going to go finish packing. and we're going to head up to the Upper Peninsula. Again, just a reminder, next week, there won't be a show, no live streams, no meeting on Wednesday for our members. That's Lit Saber just flopping around in the cockpit, plus no targeted computer. He's clearly playing in expert mode. True. No meeting next week. Have fun on your trip. Thank you, KG. Thank you all for being here. I truly appreciate it. I've had fun hanging out with you all today. And just know that none of you proved me wrong. You know, I had that whole meme of Ben Solo doesn't deserve to, or that doesn't belong in post Rise of Skywalker. Convinced me. None of you convinced me. I'm still convinced. No, in a fugitive type scenario, I'm absolutely with you. You'll get there. You guys keep working on it. Do we need a TIE Advance fight with the Razor Crest? I think I'll do that in my living room. Oh, that's a good idea. You'll come around with enough help from my friends. Perhaps I will. We'll see. I wouldn't hold my breath on that. But thank you all for being here. I've had a great time hanging out with you. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. And if any big news happens next week, you can always see me on Discord. I'm always hanging out in Discord. Got it on my phone. And if anything happens, I'll be right there to interact with you also. Stay in touch, be good, and have a fantastic day. And as always, till next time, my friends, Merry Christmas, and may the Force be with you always. Bye-bye now.